Hey mates, Blind Prime here with a special video. Today I'm going to talk to you about people over policy, and I'm going to instruct you on how you can repair your carbon fiber collapsing blind cane. So today's video is pretty simple, and to start with the repairs of your blind cane, which, by the way, please like, subscribe, and share. I need your likes. I really need them. Not enough people are liking my videos. Really appreciate getting more than 5 likes or 3 likes on a video. So, you got extra accounts. Just hit the like button on all of them. Okay, so when it comes to repairing your carbon fiber cane, more often than not, when you have a carbon fiber cane, see, they rub right out there at the connection point. And eventually, because of that rubbing, the end will come out. And you don't want your end of your cane popping out while you're crossing a road. That's bad form for the cane. And that can lead you to like stumbling around, feeling around on the ground while cars are going in all sorts of directions. And you're meanwhile trying to figure out how you're going to get your cane without it breaking. And I don't want you to suffer from that. I don't want your cane to give up on you at the exact wrong moment. Because Murphy's out there and Murphy's going to try and get you. So let's repair this cane before I go out today. So first, get to the tip, find that little rubber stopper there. There's a little O-ring, and then feel with your finger until you find a little bitty hole. Now that I found the little bitty hole, I've got my old Allen wrench set from whenever I did rollerblading, and I had to repair my rollerblades. So this one is the smallest, and hopefully it works. It may actually be too small. Let's see. Yeah, I think it is just a little too small. So let's get the next size up. Where is that next size up? Okay. Oh, these tiny, tiny Allen wrenches. Oh my. Okay. So we're just going to roll up the next Allen wrench. And I really like the skateboarder style Allen wrench setup because all of them are kind of screwed into one thing. And that way you don't lose any of them. Because Go and look at your, go look at anyone's Allen wrench set, and you'll notice there's one missing. There's always one missing. There we go. That's the right size. So now we're just going to spin it. I can get it to unwind itself just a bit. Now what we're doing here is there's a screw in this little hole, and what this screw does is it holds the tip on. Now, make sure that little screw does not come out of the thing. Trust me on that one. This little screw is harder to get back into this little hole than it is to get out. So now we're going to just carefully set it off to the side, okay? Now that you have the tip done, you think to yourself, oh, I'll just pull it out this way, and then I'll fix it and I'll put it back. But no. You'll cause yourself problems. Next step you want to do is come around here to the back of your cane. I got myself a little Wii remote strap for my cane. Now screw off the back of your carbon fiber cane. And just get this screwed off. It's a lot of screw to screw off. There it goes. All right, now just let that sit off to the side. We don't need that right now. Now comes the fun part of finding the tiniest spot. There it is. And now that you've got it pulled backwards, because you couldn't pull it out backwards before, the tip of the cane was preventing you. But now that you've removed the tip of the cane, we can then pull this backwards, and we reveal this little area here that's rough. And if you've noticed, and if you can see, you see I've already put fingernail polish on it before to stop it from rubbing and falling apart. Now if I could find my fingernail polish, cool. So while I apply this fingernail polish, I'm going to talk to you about people versus policy and give you an example. All right, so as a blind person, I have to rely on other people when I'm in an emergency situation. I can't just look around and figure it out for myself. I have to have somebody with eyes. Sometimes, not always, but sometimes I have to have a person with eyes look at something. And it annoys me because, I used to be pretty good at looking at things. And when I was younger, I would look at a problem, I would study the problem, and I'd figure out the solution to the problem. It was pretty simple stuff for me. But when I went blind, I realized I had to rely on other people to look at some problems for me because I could no longer look at them, and it wasn't safe for me to put my hands in there. So we're at a gas station broke down. The 33 hours it loves situation. And when we were there, we didn't know what was wrong with the car. We knew that the antifreeze was gone. We knew that something was broken in there. But I couldn't look to figure it out. And the person driving the car couldn't look to figure it out because they didn't know what to look for. We needed an experienced eye to look at the car. We needed an experienced eye to look at the engine and tell us what was going on inside the engine. And so that night at 4 a.m., I go walking around and I ask a bunch of people if they know anything about engines and if they can help. And there were 3 instances of people who did know things about engines and people who could help. But all 3 times, they explained to me that it was corporate policy that they not help, that they don't help a person. And I have to say that if you're working for a corporation whose policy is not to help people when they need help, like I came across 2 traveling mechanics and a mechanic that worked at the gas station. The mechanic that worked at the gas station explained that since it wasn't a big rig, he could not look at our car. Even though he could probably figure out what the problem was, corporate policy said that he could only look at the engines of individuals who were big rigs and had paid. And, well, we just needed an eye. We just needed an experienced eye to look. That's all we were asking for. Because we had mechanics. We could figure it out if we could tell them what the problem was. But we couldn't tell them what the problem was because we didn't know the problem. So the mechanic for the gas station couldn't help us. That mechanic only works on big rigs and due to corporate policy cannot touch any sort of non-big rig vehicle. And they decided not to, even though there was a blind guy and a young woman, both just needing someone to take a gander at the engine. Well, okay, I'm not going to upset the gas station we were parked at, so I go around looking for other customers. I find 2 individuals separately who are both traveling mechanics. Both of these people can take a gander at our car and figure out what's wrong. We just want them to look. We don't want them to touch it. We don't want them to do anything to it. We just needed a direction. We needed somebody with an experienced eye to look and go, I think your problem may be one of these 3 things. That's all we needed. We weren't asking for anything more than that. Both of these traveling mechanics explained to me that due to corporate policy and the fact that they're tracked on the GPS and their time is constantly being checked, they could not help. They could not help a blind man. They could not help a poor girl. They could not help due to corporate policy, and they didn't want to lose their job. And of course, I'm a polite person about this, so I didn't get on to them about it, even though I wanted to yell and scream and stomp my foot and be like, what the ever-loving hell? If I could look at the engine, I would look at the engine. But due to my disability, I can't look at the engine. And she was so distraught over the fact that it was her car, she couldn't look at the engine. She was curled in a ball crying because she thought, we were going to be stuck there for a long time. And we were stuck there for 33 hours. So, we eventually get out there during daylight, open the engine up, record a video of the antifreeze flying out of the engine, and sent it to our mechanic once the mechanic woke up. The mechanic looked at the video and, not even completing the video, goes, yeah, it looks like your water pump's broken. You're going to need a new water pump. I'm like, how do you figure that out through just the video? And he goes, well, any mechanic worth their salt can see that your water pump is broken just by how the antifreeze is spraying out the side of the engine. That is a broken water pump. It's easy to see. I'm surprised no one else there helped you. It was an easy thing. And so that was an instance that I had where I could have gotten some immediate help. I could have gotten somebody, pat me on the back, or just somebody going, oh, yeah, I see what your problem is right there. Your problem, that water pump. That water pump be broken, yo. You're going to need to fix it. That's all we wanted. That's all we wanted. But due to policy, nobody was willing to help any people. And so my request to you out there is, if you have to choose policy over people, I request that you choose people. Because people are what really matters out there. Policies change. Policies don't really matter at the end of the day. What matters is the people in the community that you build. What matters is those random acts of kindness that you can dish out. If any of those mechanics that were traveling had just taken a glance at that engine and shown us what was wrong, that would have been a random act of kindness. And I would be grateful. I'd be making a video praising that individual. Instead, I'm making a video poo-pooing on them for choosing policy over people. So I request that you, my viewers, my listeners, my subscribers, and if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, consider people before policy in the future, because that's how the world grows. That's how we become better. So don't hold yourself back. Help out people. Now, let's see if this is still tacky. Let's see. It's a little tacky, but it's basically dry. And this should being the tentative word there. Now, I didn't do a great job at it because I wasn't trying to. I was just trying to make sure that it doesn't fall out again. So let's try it. All right, we're going to slide it through all the way. Oh, hey, I know. It's not wanting to slide through all the way. Looks like I may have done a little too good of a job. Okay, now we're going to pull out these bits here, sit you there, and pull you up. Okay, look at that. Look at that. See, that's what I was looking for. That is stiff now. That's not going anywhere, and that's what you want. So, if you have a carbon fiber cane, just do what I just did. Get yourself a thing of fingernail polish, and if you're a guy, get a woman to buy your fingernail polish. That's just... Trust me, you don't want that awkward conversation of being the blind guy that walks into the fingernail salon looking for fire red fingernail polish and then getting purple because they think you're crazy or something. Just get, somebody who visits that nail salon a lot to walk in with you and help you out, because you don't want the looks, okay? When I bought this fingernail polish, there were 3 people working in that store, and when I asked for help, all 3 people vanished. And then this little old babushka lady with an attitude came out from the back of the store and started giving me flack because I was buying fingernail polish. She thought I was like some sort of creep or something like that, and I didn't understand what was going on. I just needed a little fingernail polish to repair my cane. I didn't want flack. I just wanted to get my fingernail polish and leave. And then, according to my roommate, she sold me purple. The bitch. All right, well, that is how you repair your cane. Now, all I have to do is come through here and, oh, nuts, I put away the correct one. Okay, I think this is the correct one. So last step for this repair job is you find that little screw that you unscrew. You connect your Allen wrench to it. There we go. And then you spin it to the right to tighten it. There. Don't tighten it too much because at the end of the day, this is carbon fiber. You don't want to crack it by tightening it too much. You want to just tighten it to the point where that ain't coming off, okay? That is how you repair a cane. And I already screwed on the end. And there we go. Isn't that nice? Now let's pull it out and see how well it works, huh? Whoop. Boom. Perfect. It's not going to fall out in traffic. And that's what I wanted. And I hope all of you out there have enjoyed today's video, have enjoyed the lesson I've tried to speak to you. And please, in the future, everyone out there, choose people over policy. Until next prime, bye-bye for now.